my God, he's wearing a hat. Yes, calm down. Calm down. I wear hats sometimes. Mainly snapbacks, because those are the only hats that I look good in. Because my hair is one of my best features, of course, next to what we got over here. What we got all over here. This is my best feature. This is my second best feature, but today I thought I'd switch it up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who I am, I really don't know what you've been doing for the last 3 years as of lately. I'm the one and only DJ Storms. Welcome back to the channel here on YouTube.com. This is the official rundown for AEW Double or Nothing 2, which is streaming live on Bleacher Report tomorrow, with the buy-in pre-show starting at, I believe, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We actually have a stacked card to go over. It's been a very, very, very busy week of uploading for the DJ Storms brand. I have been uploading non-stop. I've been recording podcasts. I've been uploading videos. I still have plenty more to come, including a big Lightning Flash update tomorrow. I'll be going live with my man, the Blue Riot. Shout out to him. Go follow him on Twitter, at Blue Riot with 2 T's. Go follow Blue Riot Podcast on Twitter, at Blue Riot Pod. He'll be joining me for the Lightning Flash update tomorrow. We'll be discussing Drew Gulak's release. We'll be discussing plenty of other news and rumors. We'll be discussing some weekly shows. All of that, so much more before Double or Nothing 2. I believe the start time would be around probably 1. Probably 1, I would say, is reasonable judgment. Maybe 1:30. I'll keep you guys updated. But we're talking about AEW Double or Nothing 2. And I've said it before, this is probably the most stacked card that AEW's put together so far. And it really does suck that it's taking place in front of no one except for the 10 to 15 wrestlers that they're going to have at ringside. I do have my questions as far as some of these matches go, but the matches do look great. The card looks stacked. I can't wait for it. This could possibly be the best pay-per-view in the entire pandemic period that we've been living in. I'm hoping to get some semblance of normality once we get to perhaps the end of June, hopefully early July. I'm still hearing ramblings about the 25% max capacity as far as these wrestling events go, which I do hope they do, because I actually think that's actually a good idea. It would actually create more of an ambiance rather than just having 10 to 15 wrestlers around ringside. But regardless of that, that's a different conversation for a different time. A couple things before we get started here. Please follow me on Twitter at HistoryMakerDJS. Follow me on Instagram and Periscope at The DJ Storms. The Thunderscope live stream. Oh my God, you guys have been killing it with the Thunderscope live stream. 800 views. It is absolutely amazing. I cannot thank you guys enough. Thunder is extremely, extremely happy. We're planning on doing another one very, very soon. We're thinking about it. Thinking about the songs. We're probably going to do a more modern song like Living in a Dream by Finger 11. That was from 2011. We've been doing a lot of classic songs. I feel as though that has an effect on how many views we get as far as the Thunderscope goes. But regardless of that, we are definitely going to do another one, and we may take a few weeks off of the Thunderscope. I know we're taking Saturday off. And we took last Saturday off, but we may do another one. We may do another one on May 30th. We'll think about it. We'll keep you guys updated on that. Also, add me on Facebook and like the official DJ Storms business page, and I will send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook, that is. All links are in the description. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email at StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Quarantine with Thunder, episode number 8. You wanted to get some work done outside, please go check that one out. Link is in the description, as well as my Dark Side of the Ring review on the last days of Owen Hart. It is the season finale, the final Dark Side of the Ring review that I will be doing this year until Season 3 comes back next year. Season 2 was great. If you want to go check that out, link is in the description. Please check that out. And, of course, gotta hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Come on. We have been doing great as far as thumbs up goes. Get this video to 20, 25 thumbs up. That's the normal range. That's the normal goal. Over 100 views is the normal goal that we have here on the DJ Storms brand. Hopefully, once we hit 2K and I become DJ 2K, hopefully, That would actually boost the goal up. See if we can get 200 views and 30, 40 likes every single video. But please, hit the thumbs up. Try and get this video to 20, 25 thumbs up. Please comment down below which match are you looking forward to the most as far as Double or Nothing goes. And of course, hit the subscribe button. I want to be DJ 2K. And trust me, I'm going to ram that down your throats. Why? Because I can. Please, hit the subscribe button, help me become DJ 2K, and of course, hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube, because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. It's the best time to be on YouTube because you're going to see this glorious sideburn shin strap combo. You're going to see this freshly grown quarantine stash. Oh, I see you ladies. And it's going to be a good time. You're always going to have a good time with DJ Storms. Last but not least, Blue Riot Podcast. Blue Riot Podcast, we actually did 2 episodes of the Blue Riot Podcast this week. Episode number 1 that we did was actually a bonus episode with Joseph Conlon of Big Fight Feel, where him, me, and the Blue Riot, we actually predicted the next 5 champions for each championship as far as All Elite Wrestling goes. We predicted, well, we're already on champion number 2 for all the other championships, but we predicted the first 5 TNT champions. We predicted the first 5 TNT champions, and we predicted the next 3 AEW World Tag Team, AEW Women's World Champion, and AEW World Champion. So if you want to go check that out, please go check that out, as well as episode 7 of AEW Darkamite, the Blue Riot Storms review. That is also doing great. We're currently approaching episode number 10 very, very fast. I'm not sure if we're going to do a little celebration for number 10, but we'll do something. It's going to be a fun time. We've been having a blast reviewing AEW Dark and AEW Dynamite. We talk about Being the Elite here and there, but recently Being the Elite has kind of died down after the 200th episode celebration and the match between Nick and Matt Jackson. But we've been having a blast doing the Blue Riot Storms review. If you want to go check out those 2 episodes, the bonus episode and episode 7 of Blue Riot Storms review and Darkamite, please go check it out. Blue Riot Podcast, you can find it on all platforms where you find your local podcasts, whether that be Anchor, whether that be Podbean, whether that be iTunes, whether that be Spotify. The iTunes link is in the description, so if you have iTunes, please go check that out and subscribe to the podcast. But if you don't have iTunes, it is not a problem. Please go check it out. All platforms where you find your local podcasts. Anyway, enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements. Let's get straight into the matches. Let's get straight into the matches. I believe we have 8 matches on tap here. Yes, we do. I wrote it down. So, let's talk about the match on the buy-in pre-show. We got Private Party versus the Best Friends in an AEW World Tag Team Championship number 1 contenders match. Now, this match really did confuse me because I was not expecting this match, considering that the Best Friends realistically have the most momentum out of all the tag teams in the division, as far as All Elite Wrestling goes. Private Party, listen, I love Private Party, but they just came back. They just came back after they've been away because of what's going on with the pandemic. I don't even think they're in the top 5 rankings. I haven't really checked. I know the Best Friends are. The Best Friends are. I believe they're number 1. But Private Party, I don't even think they're in the top 5 rankings. Now, they did recently just come back with a victory on AEW Dark, and they were on a 3-match winning streak before this pandemic started, so they haven't necessarily been losing matches, but they haven't been seen on television. Meanwhile, the Best Friends, they've been seen on television over the last month and a half, and they've been on a 4-match winning streak. They beat Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc, Lee Johnson and Musa. They beat Michael Nakazawa and Kenny Omega, and they recently just came off a victory over Jurassic Express last week on AEW Dynamite. So, realistically speaking, it really doesn't make too much sense for them having to go through another team in order to get an actual match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. And on top of that, Kenny and Hangman are advertised for a match at Double or Nothing 2. And if they're going to be in the same place at the same time, why not have them defend the World Tag Team Championships on a pay-per-view? They haven't defended the titles since February 29th at Revolution. And it really wouldn't make any sense for them not to have a World Tag Team title match on pay-per-view. I mean, this isn't the WWE where there's 15 different championships. AEW has 4 championships now. So when a championship's defended on a pay-per-view, it really does bring a semblance of importance to the championship and to the pay-per-view. Now, I'm not saying that the pay-per-view is bad without a World Tag Team Championship match. I'm just saying it would have made more sense because it would have made the match more important. The Best Friends getting a World Tag Team title match on pay-per-view definitely would have put a spotlight on the World Tag Team Championships. It definitely would have put a spotlight on the Best Friends. It pretty much would have made more sense because it doesn't really make sense for the number 1 team in the division and the champions to have separate matches on a pay-per-view rather than having a World Tag Team title match on pay-per-view. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be a bad match. Matter of fact, this is going to be a great match. I love Private Party. I love the Best Friends. And the Best Friends undoubtedly are the perfect interim tag team for Kenny and Hangman to lose to, or to, for Kenny and Hangman to beat before we eventually get the Dark Order, which I'm still holding out for. I've been predicting it for months now, that the Dark Order is the correct tag team to take the titles off of Kenny and Hangman. And I believe that their momentum really has been halted because they can't go anywhere because they've been quarantined because of what's going on. I believe they are in Canada. I believe they're from Canada, if I'm not mistaken, which is why they've been having some travel issues and travel restrictions. Hopefully they get that sorted out sooner rather than later because I can definitely see the Dark Order, Stu Grayson and Evil Uno, taking the titles off of Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page, and them going into All Out 2 with the World Tag Team titles, and Kenny and Hangman going into a singles match of their own. If they do take the titles off Kenny and Hangman, I could definitely see that happening at the end of June. I could definitely see that happening at the beginning of July. Kenny and Hangman and their World Tag Team title reign, it has definitely been hampered down because of what's going on, and they had to do those 5 weeks of recorded television for AEW Dynamite. The entire month of April was recorded, and recently they just started to get back to live television. But Best Friends versus Private Party, I definitely see this being a great match. I love both teams, even though I don't really think that this match is necessary. I do think it's going to be a very good tag team match, and I can see the Best Friends coming out victorious. I can see the Best Friends possibly getting a World Tag Team title match either on the next episode of Dynamite or possibly sometime in June before we eventually get Kenny Omega versus Adam Hangman Page at All Out after they lose to the Dark Order. The Dark Order winning the tag team titles will eventually be the start of the Hangman heel turn, and Hangman is eventually going to go into All Out and beat Kenny Omega, and Hangman's going to go on his massive heel run, possibly get a world championship opportunity, possibly a world championship reign. I can definitely see Hangman as a top heel. Hangman as a babyface. Hangman's very good as a babyface, but in a heel role, in a rebellious heel role, he almost reminds me of Adam Cole in a sense, like a combination. He's got the look of Adam Cole, but he's got the attitude of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Him drinking the beers and just operating on his own terms, and I could definitely see him being that cocky, confident heel as a world champion, and he's got plenty of years left in him. He's got a decade at least left in the business. So I can definitely see Hangman Page going into All Out 2, facing Kenny Omega, beating Kenny Omega after Kenny and Hangman lose the tag team titles to the Dark Order, which I believe could very well happen at the end of June, beginning of July, if they get these travel restrictions worked out, because I believe the Dark Order is currently quarantined in Canada. But as far as this match goes, Best Friends, I can see coming out victorious, and I can see them getting the World Tag Team title match against Kenny and Hangman, even though they're not going to win. Main show. I don't necessarily know what the main show is going to start off with, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander first. Now, I've been loving how Britt Baker has been portraying herself. Chris Statlander, undoubtedly one of the best in the women's division. Women's division has definitely come a long way from where it was towards the end of 2019, and I would say that the women are doing a much better job. They need to slow down at some point. Because when they have these fatal four-ways, they are definitely going all over the place when it comes to the fatal four-ways, and they're definitely putting in too much effort rather than putting in just the right amount of effort. They're trying too hard to make it exciting, and it's leading to some botches, it's leading to slip-ups, but what they're doing now definitely is much, much, much better. I mean, thank God there's no more Nightmare Collective, so, we can count our lucky stars for the fact that the Nightmare Collective is no more. But Britt Baker and Kris Statlander, I don't mind this whatsoever. I think this is a good way to get Kris Statlander and Britt Baker on the show. And Kris Statlander, realistically, has had her momentum halted. She's one of the many that has had their momentum halted because of the ongoing pandemic, and she can't be with them because of what's going on, and she was not with them throughout the entire month of April. Now she's back. Britt Baker, she's been with them since the beginning of the tapings in April. So Britt Baker, obviously, she has momentum. She has a lot of exposure, and she has had a lot of character development as far as the last month and a half goes. So Britt Baker, realistically right now, is establishing herself as one of the best heels in the women's division. Kris Statlander, her momentum's been halted, like I said. This, I feel as though, is a great way to get Kris Statlander a win and really build her up, because I feel as though Kris Statlander, by the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, possibly by Revolution next year, Kris Statlander could very well be your AEW Women's World Champion. Everyone thought that she was going to be the one to take the title off of Riho, but they elected to go with Nyla Rose. And, you know, I'm not really complaining, because Nyla Rose has been excellent in this role that she's been portraying. Whether you love her or hate her, she brings a certain level of intensity when she speaks on the microphone. She brings a certain sense of credibility when she speaks on the microphone that not a lot of women have. Not really a lot of women have when it comes to AEW in its women's division. Nyla Rose has intensity. Nyla Rose has legitimacy, so you can't really hate on her for that. As far as Kris Statlander goes, Kris Statlander, the gimmick, it's cheesy, but it's fantastic. And she's, again, like I said, undoubtedly one of the best that the women's division has, and she's only 24. She's only 24. She's got plenty of years left in her, and she's got plenty of time to win all the championships in the world. And I think that by the beginning of 2021, she could very well be your new AEW Women's World Champion. As far as this match goes, Britt Baker, she's already established. She has really established herself as a solid character as far as the women's division goes. She's definitely improved as far as her in-ring ability goes. I got to give her credit there. Again, she's not where she needs to be, but she is definitely improved. Kris Statlander, I can see getting the win here. I can see Kris Statlander getting the win over Britt Baker, establishing herself, possibly continuing a feud with Britt Baker after Double or Nothing. It's a possibility. I don't necessarily know, but Kris Statlander definitely needs to get her momentum back, definitely needs to get back on track. She was not pinned in the Fatal 4-Way last week on AEW Dynamite that Hikaru Shida won, but she still lost. She needs to get back to where she needs to be, and I think that Kris Statlander is going to get where she needs to be as far as the women's division goes by the end of the year. This is going to be a good start. I see Kris Statlander walking out victorious. Darby Allin versus Colt Cabana versus Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy versus Scorpio Sky versus Rey Fenix versus Frankie Kazarian versus Luchasaurus versus a surprise entrant casino ladder match for a shot at the AEW World Championship. Now, the concept does seem interesting. I definitely don't mind it, but I do have a question as far as the rules go. I heard JR explaining the rules that 2 men start in the ring and the next competitor enters in 90-second intervals. So every single 90 seconds a new competitor enters until all the competitors are in the match. Now, does that mean that the match doesn't officially start until all competitors have entered the match? He didn't really specify that. Does that mean that the competitors that are in the ring, the 2 competitors that are already in the ring, can climb the ladder and go after the contract for a shot at the AEW Women's World Championship period? I don't really understand the rules here, because it seems as though he's pretty much saying that, okay, yeah, 2 competitors can start, but they can climb the ladder, and they could very well win the championship opportunity before anyone else comes out. I don't really know what's going to happen there. So, is it like War Games, where the match doesn't officially start until all competitors have entered? They didn't specify it. So, I'm extremely confused as far as that goes. So, I do hope that they specify it. I do hope that they specify, because they have yet to specify it. I have yet to hear any specifications. If I missed something, please let me know. If I missed something, please let me know. But I can see this being an extremely chaotic match. I don't have any idea who this surprise entrant is. I don't know if it's someone that's already on the roster. I don't know if it's a new signee. I really don't know. And I haven't been hearing any ramblings. Some people are even calling Drew Gulak. Some people are saying, oh my God, imagine if it's Drew Gulak after what happened with him last Saturday and how he let his contract expire because of the fact that he wanted a pay increase and WWE wouldn't give it to him. I mean, there's no 90-day no compete clause, so it could be Gulak. It could be Gulak. I don't know, but I don't necessarily think it is. I have absolutely no idea who it could be. We'll have to wait and see. As far as the winner goes, I can see Darby Allin winning this. I don't really see anyone else but Darby Allin winning this, specifically because of the fact that Darby Allin is the most over star, and he is someone that will not get hurt as far as a loss goes. And I feel as though he may be the only one that makes the most sense, and he's the one that could really generate the best match out of whoever the AEW World Champion is after Double or Nothing. Some people are calling Scorpio Sky to win it. That's a possibility. They've been trying to build him up. They did those video packages for 2 weeks during the tapings throughout April. So it's a possibility they could give the match to Scorpio Sky. They could give the opportunity to Scorpio Sky. I definitely wouldn't mind that, but I feel as though it's a better story with Darby Allin, considering that if Darby Allin wins, you can definitely have Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley, and you could revisit the match that they had back in November, and that great spot where we had Jon Moxley doing a paradigm shift off the middle rope to Darby Allin that I swear to God, I'm surprised that Darby Allin didn't break his neck on that. But they could build off that, and they could build off the fact that Darby Allin's a young, up-and-coming star. They could build off the fact that he hasn't won the big one, and they could use that to fuel a storyline that would lead to a fourth match with Cody at All Out 2, where Darby Allin will finally win the big one. That's something that's just something that I conjured up. I just feel as though Darby Allin and Cody at All Out 2 would be a great match for Darby Allin, a great match for Cody, and it could get Darby Allin a win and really establish him as someone that can win the big one. And I feel as though a good bridge to that is Darby Allin winning this match and then going on to face Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship in June. And then, boom. Then you have the storyline of Darby Allin not being able to win the big one. He could finally get a victory over Cody, and into the fall, he could start a hunt for the TNT Championship. And I'm going to explain the plan that I have for the TNT Championship as far as the rest of the year goes when we get to that match. I think I've said it before, but now I'm going to say it in this video. As far as the match goes, I expect the match to be chaotic. I expect it to be all over the place. I do want some rules specified because I don't know if the match officially starts or not, because it wasn't specified. But regardless, I expect a chaotic match. I expect a chaotic feel. And I expect Darby Allin to come out victorious. And Darby Allin is going to be your new #1 contender. Actually, I don't need that anymore. Maxwell Jacob Friedman versus Jungle Boy. Now, this was a bit random. It was just randomly announced. However, I don't mind this whatsoever because this continues the momentum of MJF and really does solidify Jungle Boy as an underdog. I don't really like the fact that they're using Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus separately, as I do think that they are going to be the next AEW World Tag Team Champions after the Dark Order. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But MJF and Jungle Boy, I can definitely see being a very underrated match, perhaps the most underrated match of the night. I expect MJF to come out victorious. I expect him to continue his momentum. I expect MJF to continue building his momentum and building his reputation, building his resume. And based on everything that's going on, I'm telling you right now, I firmly believe that MJF could very well be the #1 contender for the AEW World Championship at All Out 2. I really don't see anyone else. I was predicting Kenny Omega. I was predicting Kenny Omega. Some people were predicting Adam Hangman Page, and those two were the top two in the conversation. But based off of everything that's happening, they're not losing the titles yet. They're not losing the titles till the Dark Order comes back. And then after they lose the titles, they're headed to an eventual match. They're headed to a feud and a match on pay-per-view. And I feel as though that's going to happen at All Out. So if Kenny and Hangman, they're embroiled in a match. Darby Allin and Cody, they're caught up in a match. Chris Jericho, he's got his own issues with Matt Hardy. And I feel as though the Elite and the Inner Circle, they're going to be tied up for the next few months. They could be tied up for the entire summer until we get Blood and Guts finally. Until we get people back and we finally get Blood and Guts. Where does that leave Jon Moxley? There's only one other person. And that's MJF, who's undoubtedly the best heel in wrestling. It's a fucking fact. The man is the best heel in professional wrestling right now. So I don't really think that there's anyone else who is more worthy of challenging for the AEW World Championship other than MJF, as far as All Out 2 goes. And by the end of it, we could very well be seeing MJF hold up the AEW World Championship, and MJF is going to go on a reign for the rest of the year going into 2021 as the AEW World Champion. And I feel as though MJF and Cody could be headed on a collision course at Revolution 2, where Cody's finally going to get his redemption on MJF, and he's finally going to win the AEW World Championship. So I'm going with MJF to beat Jungle Boy here. Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. No disqualification, no countouts match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Now, I understand the complaints as far as the women's division goes. You don't necessarily have to like Nyla Rose, but you cannot, and I've said this before, you cannot deny what Nyla Rose has been doing. And again, I know her momentum has been halted. Her momentum has been halted, just like many people's momentums have been halted because of the ongoing pandemic. Nyla Rose right now is doing some very good things as far as her promo work goes. I hope, now that we have a Hikaru Shida, and now that we have a no disqualification, no countout stipulation, I really do hope that this could really open some more eyes to Nyla Rose, and I really do hope that Nyla Rose is going to be tested in a good way, and we could very well see a breakout performance by Nyla Rose. We already know how good Hikaru Shida is. Hikaru Shida is number one as far as the women's division goes. Hikaru Shida is undoubtedly the best that they have in the women's division right now overall. She is undoubtedly the best wrestler that we have as far as the AEW women's division goes. She is their version of Asuka. Hikaru Shida is AEW's version of Asuka. Hikaru Shida is great. Unfortunately, I don't think it's her time yet. And the reason why is because Nyla Rose hasn't necessarily had a legitimate reign as world champion because of the simple fact that the pandemic has caused her to be quarantined in California for over a month. She had a successful title defense against Chrisstat. It seemed as though they were building towards her versus Bea Priestley. They had Big Swole in the mix. They were possibly going to get a rematch with Riho. Riho still doesn't have her rematch. So if Nyla Rose loses here, then we have Nyla Rose in the mix, and Nyla Rose is going to have to get her rematch. So Nyla Rose hasn't really had too much of an opportunity to showcase what she can really do with the World Championship, with the Women's World Championship outside of Chris Statlander. And that wasn't very good, simply because of the fact that they were put on after the AEW World Tag Team Championship match that pretty much stole the entire year as far as pro wrestling goes. I don't think there has not been a single match this year other than that match that has completely captivated an audience this year, just like that match. The only match that's come close to it is Tommaso Ciampa and Adam Cole from NXT TakeOver Portland. But even then, that was not as good. That was not as good as the World Tag Team Championship match. The World Tag Team Championship match was picture perfect. I don't think I've ever seen a more picture perfect tag team match than that match. I don't think I've ever seen a tag team match that good since the Revival or the Revolt versus DIY back at NXT TakeOver Toronto. But Nyla Rose, she hasn't really had much of an opportunity to showcase what she can really do with the Women's World Championship, so it doesn't really make too much sense for her to lose it now. I don't necessarily think that she should lose it now, and if she does, it would really it would really just make Nyla Rose a transitional champion in a way. Because she didn't really have any more title defenses other than that title defense against Chrisstat. Hikaru Shida, I understand a lot of people's complaints as far as Hikaru Shida goes, and I know that you want to see her as Women's World Champion, but right now I really don't think that it can happen. Not now, at least. Not now, because Nyla Rose needs a legitimate Women's Championship title reign. And if anything, Nyla Rose, she needs some more title defenses under her belt. So she's going to get the win here against Hikaru Shida, and she's going to get some more title defenses leading up to All Out too. And I feel as though maybe they could revisit this match. They could revisit this feud, and at All Out 2, we get Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rose, and Hikaru Shida could very well win the Women's World Championship at All Out 2. But right now, if Nyla Rose had some more title defenses under her belt, if she had a title defense against Rio, if she had a title defense against Big Swole under her belt, then you know what? I would be saying, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hikaru Shida is going to be the new Women's World Champion, but this is going to be Nyla Rose's second title defense only. This is going to be her second title defense since she won the title in February. She was hampered down, and she was held down because of the pandemic. She was quarantined because of the pandemic, and she was not able to establish herself as a legitimate champion because of what's going on. It's not her fault. Now they have to make it right. I think Nyla Rose is going to retain. I feel as though Nyla Rose is going to walk out of this match with the AEW Women's World Championship, and we are going to go into the summer with Nyla Rose as champion, and Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida 2 at All Out 2 is going to be the Women's Championship match, with Hikaru Shida finally winning the title then. Cody versus Lance Archer for the TNT Championship. The tournament finals taking place at Double or Nothing. Championship is being presented by Mike Tyson. This undoubtedly has been the best built match going into the show. There has been no match that has had the story, that has had the well-established individuals, that has had the booking like this match has had. Both men have been booked in their roles perfectly. Lance Archer right now, he's already a superstar in my eyes, and Lance Archer right now, he's already legit in my eyes. He's already the most legitimate superstar that the company has. In just 2 months, they have booked Lance Archer like Brock Lesnar. And I'm not talking about not having him show up, but they have booked Lance Archer with the legitimacy and the credibility of someone like a Brock Lesnar. The partnership with Jake Roberts, fantastic. It reminds me of 2002 partnership with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. The vibe that it gives off, it's old school. You got an experienced mind in Jake Roberts. You got a monster in Lance Archer. And Lance Archer, you can definitely tell they have a lot of investment in Lance Archer. The fact that they're pairing him with Cody and they're putting him in a TNT Championship match. Does it need the championship? Absolutely not. It does not need the championship. I am not saying that it does. It doesn't need the championship. It never needed the championship. But you need to respect Tony Khan and you need to respect AEW for putting that much investment in Lance Archer. And when Lance Archer wins this, I'm telling you right now, this is going to benefit them so much because now you have a gold mine. Now you have a gem on your hands with Lance Archer. Lance Archer, he beats Cody and he wins the TNT Championship. Lance Archer is going to be looked at as number one in the company, and he's not even the world champion. He doesn't even need to be the world champion, and he's going to be looked at as the top of the line. He's going to be at the top of the food chain. Now you have a story to tell. Remember what I said about Darby Allin getting the World Championship match, losing to Jon Moxley. The story that Darby Allin can't win the big one. Now he has a match with Cody. He has a match with Cody at All Out 2, and he beats Cody. Meanwhile, Lance Archer is building his reputation over the course of the next 3 to 4 months as the unstoppable monster, the beast of All Elite Wrestling. Now we go into the fall. Now we have a number one contenders match at Full Gear between Darby Allin and someone else. Maybe a Sammy Guevara. Maybe a Scorpio Sky or a Kip Sabian. Regardless of that, Darby Allin, he becomes the number one contender for the TNT Championship in the fall. In December, on the final Dynamite of 2020. Lance Archer has held the TNT Championship since May. Lance Archer held the TNT Championship for 7 months. Now, he comes face-to-face with Darby Allin. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the pop? Can you imagine the reaction if we finally get crowds at that time, which I hope we do. I'm crossing my fingers that we do. But can you imagine Darby Allin and Lance Archer? Can you imagine Darby Allin and Lance Archer for 20 minutes, tearing the house down? David versus Goliath, the Beast in Lance Archer, the underdog in Darby Allin, the underdog storyline that you've been telling since the summer of 2020. For 5 months, Darby Allin can't win the big one. He finally beats Cody. Now he's face-to-face with Lance Archer. He's face-to-face with Lance Archer, the Beast of All Elite Wrestling, in a championship match, and Darby Allin beats Lance Archer. I'm telling you, the prestige, the legitimacy, and the credibility that Lance Archer has after he wins the TNT Championship against Cody, and after he goes on to build his reputation over the course of the next 6-7 months, I'm telling you, whoever beats Lance Archer after all of that is going to be a star. Lance Archer is going to be here, and whoever beats Lance Archer is going to get on that level, and they're going to be able to establish a new star, and that new star's name is Darby Allin. Darby Allin's going to beat Lance Archer for the TNT Championship at the end of the year. Darby Allin is going to be a legitimate superstar, and a TNT Championship reign, no matter how long it lasts, that victory over Lance Archer is going to make Darby Allin into a credible World Championship material-like superstar. And I'm telling you, after he loses the TNT Championship, we could very well see Darby Allin as World Champion by the end of 2021. I'm telling you. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Lance Archer and Cody, this has been the best built match towards Double or Nothing. I believe that they're going to tell an amazing story, and you gotta give Cody a lot of credit here, because Cody Rhodes, he's been one of the most selfless individuals ever since the start of All Elite Wrestling. The fact that Lance Archer is going to be another person put over by Cody Rhodes, and Cody's going to be the one that Lance Archer establishes himself off of. You gotta give Cody a lot of credit for that. And you got to give Cody his props for that. I'm going with Lance Archer. Lance Archer is going to win the TNT Championship. Lance Archer is going to be the Beast of All Elite Wrestling throughout the course of the rest of the year. The Elite. Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, Matt Hardy, and the Young Bucks versus the Inner Circle. Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Santana Ortiz, and Jake Hager, in a Stadium Stampede match. Now, again, I stated I don't necessarily know why they're having Kenny and Hangman in the same place at the same time on a pay-per-view, and they are not defending the World Tag Team Championships after they haven't defended them since February 29th. I have a theory as to why they're doing this. I believe the common trend that's going to be followed throughout the course of this pandemic period is, I believe that this match is going to be cinematic. I believe this match is going to be cinematic. I believe that this match is going to be pre-taped, pre-recorded, and I believe that at least one cinematic match on every pay-per-view is going to be a common trend for all pay-per-views going forward until we finally get the crowds back. We had the Boneyard match on night 1 at WrestleMania. We had the Firefly Funhouse match on night 2 at WrestleMania. We had the Money in the Bank ladder match at WWE corporate headquarters at Money in the Bank. We're going to have the Stadium Stampede match here. We're going to have something for NXT TakeOver in your house. We're going to have something for Backlash. We're going to have at least one cinematic match on every single pay-per-view going forward until we finally get crowds back. And I believe that this match is going to be cinematic. I believe this match has probably already been recorded. As far as we speak, it's probably already been recorded. I don't necessarily know why they wouldn't pre-record this match after the disaster that was the Jon Moxley Jake Hager match. Look, that match sucked, whether you want to admit it or not. It's a fact. The match fucking sucked. That match is fucking boring. And I believe that this match is pretty much going to be a cinematic match as a teaser towards a potential Chris Jericho Matt Hardy match in the Hardy compound and the eventual Blood and Guts match. As far as the winners go, I have a feeling, since the Inner Circle have really been getting the better of the Elite a lot. I mean, Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega did beat Proud and Powerful last week on AEW Dynamite, but at the same point in time, for the most part, the Inner Circle have really been dominating the Elite as of lately. And on top of that, the Elite haven't really been seen too much, considering they have been pretty much separated because Hangman and the Bucks, they've been quarantined in California. So I can definitely see the Elite coming out victorious in this Stadium Stampede match. I expect a lot of goofiness. I expect a lot of laughs. I expect a lot of crazy spots. You know for a fact that they're going to do some crazy-ass spots. I mean, you got Kenny Omega in there. You got the Young Bucks in there. You got Santana and Ortiz, who are fucking crazy in their own right. Jake Hager is obviously going to play a big factor. He's the muscle of the Inner Circle. You know for a fact that we're going to get some very entertaining material as far as the Stadium Stampede match goes. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the rules are. But regardless of it, I think this is a good bridge towards the eventual Hardy Compound match between Jericho and Matt, and the eventual Blood and Guts match that we will see down the line. And I can see the Elite coming out victorious here. Main event, Jon Moxley versus Mr. Brodie Lee for the AEW World Championship. Now, this was a rather questionable move. A lot of people were questioning why they're putting Brodie Lee in this position this early. I have a feeling it's because they see a lot in Brodie. They see the talent that Brodie possesses. They know that Brodie and Moxley, they work very well together. They know that they're going to put on a show, and they're going to put on a match worthy of being known as an AEW World Championship match. And I feel as though they're doing this because they have a lot of heavy investment in Brodie, and they really want to establish Brodie as a credible contender because they could very well have plans to push him for the AEW World Championship. I don't think Moxley's going to be a transitional champion. I don't think Brodie Lee's going to win. This is going to benefit Brodie, though. Please do not mistake in this. This is definitely going to benefit Brodie, simply because of the fact that he is the leader of the Dark Order. He's been undefeated. He's going to put on a great 20-minute showing against the world champion. Yes, he may lose. But I can definitely see the Dark Order, once they win the Tag Team Championships, I can definitely see the Dark Order becoming the longest reigning AEW World Tag Team Champions in history. And then we could potentially see Darby Allin versus Brodie Lee for the TNT Championship, and Brodie Lee is going to take the TNT Championship from Darby. And then we're going to have Brodie Lee as TNT Champion. We're going to have Dark Order as World Tag Team Champions, and they are going to go on a monumentous run. Could very well happen. I can definitely see Brodie Lee winning the TNT Championship after Darby Allin. Darby Allin, he's going to fight for the World Championship, and Brodie Lee, he could potentially have plans to go and he could have his own run with the TNT Championship, and then he could potentially have plans to become a world champion in the future. Brodie Lee, and the performances that he's been putting on, he put on a great match with Christopher Daniels. He absolutely destroyed Marco Stunt, and it was fucking hilarious to see Marco Stunt get flung around by Brodie. I mean, come on, it's fun to see Marco Stunt get flung around, period. But I definitely see a lot in Mr. Brodie. I like that they're putting the Dark Order and Mr. Brodie against Jon Moxley, and I like that they are really establishing the Dark Order as a credible threat, considering where they were back in August and how everyone was just shitting on the Dark Order. Now they gave him a sense of purpose. They gave him a story with the Exalted One. They started to have the Dark Order actually gain some wins, and now we could be saying that the Dark Order could be tag team champions. Brodie Lee's in a world championship match, and Brodie Lee could very well be the TNT champion by 2021. So the Dark Order, they're another part of All Elite Wrestling. Aside from the women's division, the Dark Order's definitely come a long way. And again, Brodie Lee, let me tell you something. I've said this once and I'll say it again. Brodie Lee, he took 2 shots at Vince McMahon, and he hasn't said anything as far as Vince McMahon goes since then. He's portraying this tyrannical egomaniac, and he has all these creative ideas as far as the tyrannical egomaniac that is Mr. Brodie, the Exalted One. If you're shitting on Brodie Lee for doing that, and you're still shitting on Brodie Lee for being a rip-off of Vince McMahon, you're just doing it to be cool. You're doing it to be cool, and you're not cool. You are fucking dumb. You are a dumb fuck. As far as the match goes, I expect the match to be great. I expect the match to be very, very hard-hitting. I expect Brodie Lee to actually bring Jon Moxley to a great match. And that's not saying that Jake Hager did not. I'm just saying that they booked that match horribly. they booked that match horribly. They had it in an empty arena with JR calling it. He didn't even sound excited. And they didn't even go all in as far as what they could have done. It was a no-holds-barred empty arena match for the AEW World Championship, and all they used was a steel chair. It was legitimately the same exact format as Edge and Orton from WrestleMania, and that match fucking sucked. So at the end of the day, Jon Moxley's World Championship reign, it got off on the wrong foot with Jake Hager, and I feel as though this could very well be its redeeming match. It could very well be a great match, which I expect it to be. I don't expect Brodie to win. I expect Jon Moxley to retain, and I expect Jon Moxley to continue on, go into the AEW World Championship match with Darby Allin, possibly get another championship match in before Double or Nothing, or not Double or Nothing, All Out 2, and then we're going to get MJF and Jon Moxley, and MJF is going to be your third AEW World Champion. It is going to be something to behold. I'm telling you, it really is going to be something to behold at All Out 2. And how far MJF has come. It's going to be something. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the rundown. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. I greatly appreciate it. It definitely does mean the world to me. I know I act like a cocky dick, and I am a cocky dick in a sense. I know I may be a prick, but I am definitely appreciative of everyone who watches my videos, who likes, who comments, who boost those watch minutes, even the people that dislike. Even the people, I know you fuckers that dislike, and you can't help but dislike my videos, because you're my biggest fans. You're my biggest fans. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. It has definitely made this quarantine all worthwhile. The DJ Storms brand has been booming. Please check out all the links in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out Blue Riot Podcast. Check out the previous videos I posted. Tomorrow, live Lightning Flash update with the Blue Riot. And then on Sunday is the Rewind for Double or Nothing 2. I start my online class, social media marketing, on June 23rd. So I got plenty more to come. I got plenty of content to come, including the rundown for NXT TakeOver in Your House and Backlash, which is also on Father's Day. Happy early Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Check out all the links in the description. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. I'm DJ Storms. This has been The Rundown, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for the live Lightning Flash update with my man, Blue Riot.